Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm in the process of refitting the 91 Jamboree for our next voyage. And refitting just means cleaning it up and getting everything prepped for your next voyage. It's just a military term. But I got just a few things that I thought I'd share with you that I was recommended to get for an RV, either from people that I know or from on other YouTube channels where they talk about RVs and stuff. And I wanted to share these things with you, not mainly for your benefit, but for mine, so that you can let me know in the comments what other things do you think is very important for us to have in a jamboree or in an RV for when you hit the road. Now, I take the basic things that I always take, but there are other things that have to do with camping out and things like that that many people take that I probably don't know about. So I'm pretty much asking for your help and hopefully giving you a little bit of entertainment by showing you all of the things that I am currently carrying with me and currently use in our jamboree. And you know what? Before I started this, I heard Poppy crowing. Right? I heard him doing his thing. So let's go ahead and check on the chickens, feed them, and see if we got any eggs today. It's still pretty early in the morning, but let's go see if we got any eggs. And there is Poppy. And I've got Nuggy in here with Poppy because, believe it or not, Poppy treats her way better than the adult hens do. So we're waiting for Nuggy right there to get as big as these guys so that we can integrate her in with them. And here Lulu is trying to get in. You know you can't get in, Lulu, right? She's trying to get in because she likes to give Poppy a hard time. So pretty much what I do in the summer, instead of filling up their trough, you know, with their feeder, I guess, I just give them a couple of scoops every day, and that yields me anywhere between 4 to 6 eggs a day. Now, whenever I fill the 12-pound feeder, they eat it in one day, and they produce a whole bunch of poop, and that's all I get for that one day of feeding 12 pounds. Is a whole bunch of poop. So when I give them a couple of scoops, they don't lose weight or anything. Don't be saying that I'm starving the chickens, because I'm not. You can see they're all nice and healthy. They produce the number of eggs that we require, because we don't need eggs every day, and they don't poop as much. And that's how I give it to them. And probably here within about 20 minutes, every little bit of that will be gone. And for Poppy and for Nugget, I just throw this right here. And they go at that. It actually lasts them a little longer, because I think that's a lot for just them too. But I also give them a little bit of mealworms as a treat. And they love the mealworms. I actually received a packet of like a mixture of mealworms and beetles and slugs and stuff like that to give to them to see how they like it, but I haven't broken that packet out yet. So that right there is plenty to sustain them for the whole day. For them, they have water coming out of there. And you can see that Nuggy's not very used to me, but whenever my wife comes out here, she loves her, so she always comes to her whenever she calls her. But and Poppy, what I do is, Poppy is very unpredictable. So you see this stick right here? I have this stick laying up on this coop right here, laying up against this wall right here. That way, when I come in here and I see that he's acting some kind of way, I can tell when he's not feeling it for that day. I'll go ahead and grab the stick, and I just grab it, and then he knows that I'm all business. And you can see that Nuggy, she is still small enough to be able to fit in through there and go ahead and hang out with the adult hens. And if they get too aggressive with her, she can slip right back in here. So it's working out so far. There's times where they treat her really, really well, and there's times where they start picking at her, and she just comes back in. But look at how pretty Nugget is. You see her tail? She is a mixture of a brownie and a blondie. That's what I call them. But she is really, really pretty. I really do hope that she stays a hen and doesn't become another big red, because I really want to be able to keep her long term. And of course, there's Lulu over there looking for any little chicken scraps that might have fallen through the fence. She will eat the chicken food if you let her. So have to watch out for her all the time. Let's go see if we have any eggs. Now it's kind of early in the morning to be checking for eggs. I usually check probably around noon 30. And as I suspected, there's no eggs in here. And you know what? I mean, I thought that it would be a much stronger smell in here, but it really doesn't smell bad in here at all, to tell you the truth. Before winter, I'll be getting rid of this straw and replacing it with clean straw and probably putting another coat on the floor. You see that gray paint there? That's like a rubber that I put on the floor and it works great. I'll probably put another coat of that just to be safe on the safe side and make sure everything is still sealed. And I'll probably go up the walls a little bit more before next winter. But other than that, everything in here is looking really good. This is still where I keep their water. And you can see that there's still water in there. Yeah, I could probably use a little bit of a cleaning. So I got to get to doing that. All right, let's go back and check and see what things we got for the RV that I've gotten from recommendations off of YouTube and actual other people that have RVs. Let me show you a pretty substantial investment that we made in this RV, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be living here. In addition to the 2 bed mattresses that we got to replace the old ones, we purchased this Tyson vacuum right here. Why? I'll tell you what. Those dog hairs or the dog fur, they accumulate very quickly. Now, I had a cheaper vacuum cleaner in here that was kind of doing the job. It was keeping up, but not as good as this one. Check this out. In this case, I believe that you're going to get what you pay for because that thing did a great job. And I had already gone over this once with my cheaper vacuum cleaner. It just doesn't have the suction pressure that the Dyson has. No, I am not sponsored by Tyson, okay? Let me go ahead and show you a few of the things. Some things I just got and a couple of things I've had for a while, but it's something that I'm always going to be using here after every trip, at least after every trip, if not during the trips. So I mentioned this very briefly on my previous RV video, and go check that out. We took a trip with the Jamboree for the first maiden voyage, and it was a great trip. And on our way back, we encountered some of those really nasty Alaskan fires that's going on near the Denali area. So go check that video out. It was a lot of fun. But anyways, I mentioned this briefly, and what this is it's called an ozone machine. Now, there's plenty of different brands. We've had this one for a really long time, and let me tell you this quick story. When we first got here to Alaska via the Army, we were put in military housing, and when we got to our home, ladies and gentlemen, there was bad stuff there. Obviously, the people there smoked, and they had pets, and there was just big problems. And they didn't do a very good job cleaning it before we got there. And we were desperate for a home. And that's how they get you. You got to sign for this home. And then when you get there, it's like, you know, just not right. But anyways, that's besides the point. So we scrubbed the walls from floor to ceiling. We scrubbed everything in that house. It was a nice house, nice big house, nice garage. But it smelled so much like cigarette smoke. And then my wife did some research. And she came up with this. She said, look, they used this to get rid of smoke smell, to get rid of small bugs, etc., etc. It's really toxic if you stay inside the same room with it and breathe it. You're not supposed to do that. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to seal off the room or area that you are treating with this ozone machine and let it go we let it go for like a full day. We spent the full day away and let it go throughout the whole house. And ladies and gentlemen, it cut the smell of the smoke right off. We ended up doing it a couple more times because it kind of like wanted to come in through the walls, come out of the walls. But we did it a couple more times. Never smelled cigarette smoke inside the walls again. This thing works great. What I like about this the most is, yes, it gets rid of any little smells that you might have picked up from here or there. Let's say, for example, one of your pets has an accident, right? And you clean it up the best you can, but there's still that residual smell there, right? This cleans that up. But also, it gets rid of like microscopic or very small insects because they can't live without oxygen, and this thing deprives your area of oxygen. It gets rid of mildew, gets rid of mold. It doesn't allow it to grow anymore. This is a great machine. We've had it for, I want to say 10 years now. We've had it for about 10 years now, and it's always done a great job. So what I've been doing is I've put it on here for a couple of days when we first got this, because you know, whenever you buy something used, it never has your smell, right? So we put this on for a couple of days when we first got this, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it a point that after every trip we put it on for a day in here along with the dehumidifier, so that it can do its work and always keep this area fresh. I probably spent a whole bunch of time trying to tell you about this, but this is a great machine. All of these things, I'll leave you a link so that if you want to revisit it, you can revisit it. Most of this stuff is Amazon stuff, so it'll be easy for you to find it, but I'll leave you a direct link to it. This is something that I found out via YouTube that is very important that you get, because depending on the electrical service that you get at whatever campground you're at, something may happen that may short circuit and it will extend to your RV. So this is, I haven't even opened it yet, this is a 30 amp surge protector, and it's mainly used for RVs. And I'm like, you know what, this is a heck of a cheap investment that would save a lot of headache if something were to happen and ruin my electrical system. Because like I said, this old Jamboree might be 33 years old, but everything in it still works. I wish it had an air conditioner, but we are going to be getting an air conditioner for this. A friend of mine has an old RV that has 2 air conditioners that work just fine, but that hasn't run in a long time on the road. The RV hasn't, because it has a bent frame and it's not roadworthy. So that's in the works. But having something like this, ladies and gentlemen, I took a look at this one. I took a look at the ratings. I can't say that I recommend it or don't recommend it because I've never even used it. We just got it in the mail. But just giving you ideas, I think this is a great idea to have a surge protector. So this would be hooked into your electrical at whatever campground you might be in. And then this right here is the inlet for your RV's electrical. And I mean, this thing seems to be pretty hardy. And it says here 30 amps, and I think it says 9,800 joules. But 30 amps, ladies and gentlemen, if you're working with 110 or 120 volts, will convert to about 3,600 watts. So whenever you see amperage, all you have to do is multiply that amperage times the volts that you're working here, which here in the US is 110, 120. I usually go by 120 because it's the easiest, and it converts to 3,600 watts. That's what's going to be going through this wire maximum before it trips. And take a look at the rubber band that thing came with. I'm definitely not going to throw this away. This will come in handy for something. And the next thing, ladies and gentlemen, is a water regulator. All right, or a water pressure regulator. And let me tell you why. I actually saw someone talking about this on YouTube, and I didn't go ahead and get one right away. But when we went down to Anchorage this last time, we went to hook up, or I went to hook up our direct water supply to theirs. And before I did that, I went and I filled up my SIMPURE 6-liter bag with water so that I can filter it for our dogs and for us to drink, etc. And there was so much pressure in there that I was like, oh my goodness, this is just too much pressure. I don't know if our system can handle this. Because RVs are supposedly supposed to handle like between 40 and 60. Man, this thing was just super, super fast. So I didn't want to take the chance. So what I did instead is I just filled up my holding tank with fresh water, and then I used that water to go ahead and flush the toilet, etc., etc., instead of being hooked up directly to the city. So went ahead and ordered this, and what this is supposed to do is supposed to allow you to regulate the pressure that's coming in from the city and then into your RV. That way I can connect to the direct water line that will allow me to use it throughout the RV without having to use the water in my holding tank. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at about 30 psi to see how it feels. And if that's fine, that's fine. Because basically what we've been using in here is like the toilet, and then once in a while we'll use the sink to wash our hands, things like that. Not anything that we really need a lot of pressure for. So when I do use these things, I'll actually go ahead and shoot a quick clip so I can show you. But let me go ahead and show you right here. And look at this. This one says here that it comes with a 45 psi factory setting. Right? So who knows? Maybe we'll try that first. Let's see what it looks like. And I mean, I've never dealt with these, but this looks like it's pretty decent quality. Again, just like the other thing that I got, I went ahead and looked at reviews, and the reviews were pretty good. And this is really a simple tool, ladies and gentlemen. This shouldn't be something that is very hard to make or even very hard to maintain. And if you're new here, thank you very much for joining in. I truly hope that you get at least a little bit of entertainment out of these videos. These aren't the only videos that I do. I pretty much do videos about anything that I think is interesting, but mainly about telling you how important it is to be prepared for anything. Not for the end of the world, but for anything, ladies and gentlemen. That way your standard of living, and more importantly, your family's standard of living, doesn't have to suffer during any kind of a crisis. But I like to break the monotony every once in a while by doing little videos like this that are kind of like seasonal, I guess you can say. And to me, they're a lot of fun. And why not have a little fun, ladies and gentlemen? It's not all about gloom and doom. Something that I already had is this utility rope. And this is the kind that comes in this little canister, and you can pull it out and you can cut it. It's very, very handy. I've been using it already, but this is something that I think that everyone ought to have, not just in their RV, but even in your vehicles. I cannot afford to keep a dehumidifier going here all the time when we're not using the machine. So having one of these and leaving it in here will give me an idea of how damp or humid the air in here is, and it will let me know whether I need to turn on my humidifier or dehumidifier, excuse me, or not. I also have this digital thermometer that also has the humidity here, and the humidity right now is pretty high. And the reason is because it's nice and cool outside today because it's raining, but it's a bit humid. This has a little magnet in the back, and I just put it on top of the stove where the fan is. And I think these are like, I don't know, I think I bought 4 of these for like $6 or something like this. Very, very cheap. Now this, ladies and gentlemen, is such a cool little item. We bought a pack of 2 just to see how it works. But what this is a plate that you can eat out of, right? But at the same time, you can turn it into a little bowl. So, you know, one of the things that I've noticed is that we have a lot of storage in here, but we don't have anything in here. That's why we think we have a lot of storage. But as the months and probably years go by, and you add something here, you add something there, getting a few of these that collapse just like a plate, and we can use it as a plate or a bowl, it takes up almost no space whatsoever. And for 2 of these, it was $10. This is probably one of the most important things, in my opinion, being a brand new RV owner. Brand new owner means that this is my first RV, not that this is a brand new RV. To me, it is. But being a brand new RV owner, I would have to say that the most important thing you can do to maintain your RV is to make sure that your roof is properly sealed and that it has a good quality job. Now, so far, this roof, from when I inspected it when I bought this RV, is in excellent shape. But I've researched a lot, and this Eternabond tape is supposed to be the very best in the market, especially when paired with a silicone that you put on your roof. And I think it's made by a company, or the name of it is Henry. I have to order some of that special because they won't ship it from Amazon, but I'll have to use my shipping company to do that. Now, between this and that Henry roof sealant, our roof should be able to last for years and years and years. And it's something that I'm going to try to do after I get my air conditioner done. That way we can put new sealant all around that air conditioner vent, and hopefully it'll be good to go for years. Having said that, I'll have to see if all of the claims that are made from this Eternabond tape are true and that Henry roof sealing are true. But from all of the ratings and all of the videos that I've watched on these 2 items, they're outstanding product to put on your roof. Now, something like that where you can do it yourself is exactly what I need, because I looked into seeing how much it costs to put like a new roof on this thing. Incredible. Now this, ladies and gentlemen, is what was sent to me by Itahel. You know, the company that I sent you all to get your portable reverse osmosis water filtration system. They also make this nice little portable fan that is charged with solar, or you can charge it via your USB. And I'm like, you know what, having a little fan like that that's portable and charged with solar is a great thing to have, especially if you have no other way of charging it. I mean, who wants to be really hot during the apocalypse? Well, now you don't have to be, ladies and gentlemen. You can just have your It's a Hell fan and charge it with the sun so that it can cool you down. Now, I'm just kidding about the apocalypse, but I thought I'd at least open it up in front of you, and then later on I do a quick review video of it or integrate it into another video so that you can see how it works and see what I think about it, and then you can make your own decision on whether you want to purchase it or not. Nonetheless, I will leave the link for this on a pinned comment, and I think they're going to give me a discount code for this as well. The solar panel looks like it's pretty nice, and this unit has an internal battery that's 10,000 milliamps, which is really good. To give you an idea of what 10,000 milliamps is, your average phone uses about, or has a battery that's about 2,000 to 2,500 milliamps in size. So 10,000 milliamps to me seems pretty good. Let's see, it looks like this is the motherboard. It's got your, I believe this is your on button, and then it's got a timer where you can set it for so many hours of runtime and it'll turn off on its own. And then it has the speed. And right here, being that it has a 10,000 milliamp battery, it does have a USB-A so that you can go ahead and charge your phone in emergency or something like that. In addition to that, here is how you charge it. You go ahead and put your USB-C in here and it will charge your 10,000 milliamp battery. Now these came completely empty from the factory, which is a good thing because it's what allows them to be shipped over USPS. So I'm going to go ahead and charge this up and at least see how it works. I really like how you can place this and pretty much angle the solar panel part of it however you want to angle it, right, to get the most amount of sun that you can. But one thing that I wish that they would have done is to give us something that shows us how full or how empty our battery is. That way we know when we can get this thing out of the sun and it's got a full charge. After looking into it, ladies and gentlemen, it seems that when you charge it either via USB or through the solar panel, this little light here is going to blink. Now when you're charging it via solar panel in optimum sunlight, you're going to take about 14 hours to charge this unit. So what I would do is have one so that I can have it charging on any certain day, and then have one that's already fully charged. That way when the one that's fully charged is emptied out, I can swap it out with the one that's out there collecting sunlight. And this is a short visual as to how fast the air is coming out of this unit. And here are the new young ladies. There's 6 of them. So they look like they're starting to acclimate. When I brought them home, I think it was yesterday or the day before yesterday, they were very, very scared. So we put a little bit of straw in there, put some food in that tin in there. I don't understand how these chickens can stand on their food and then eat the whatever. you know what I mean. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until Nugget gets big enough to be incorporated in with the other chickens on a full-time basis, of course. And then I'm going to go ahead and put Nugget and Poppy in there with all of them to see how they do. We did attempt to put some of these like bras, I guess you can call them, on the hens, but a lot of them have shaken them off. So if you have any ideas, please leave it in the comment. And then when we do incorporate Nugget and Poppy back in with the rest of the flock, I want to put the little ones in here until they're big enough to take care of themselves. If you all remember, this is the area where I used to have my little tent where I put my snowblower in. Well, there's my snowblower over there. And what I've done here is I've taken the tent and the floor apart as of now, and I'm going to go ahead and build a lean-to on the side of the tool shed, and that's where the snowblower is going to live afterward. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this. I'm not going to throw it away because I can still use this wood. It looks like it might be a little banged up, but it still has a lot of use left in it. And eventually the tool shed will have the same color scheme as the chicken coop. All right, but that's not very high on my priority because I know that the outside wood of the tool shed is not going to go bad since it's vertical. So if it gets a little bit of water on it, it'll dry off, no problem. So if I don't get to it this year, I will definitely get to it next year for sure, because that'll be the second year that the tool shed is naked. Ladies and gentlemen, I just realized, like just came to me, that I showed you that I brought my Mega 3 along for when I did a night of boondocking, and I don't have any footage of that, but it was kind of a creepy night. It was like in the middle of Anchorage, and I had a couple of people like trying to get in and knocking at the door like really late at night. But anyways, I wanted to show you how it is that I hook up the actual RV to the Mega 3. That way you see how easy it is to be able to boondock or to be able to camp out somewhere with your RV where there's no connections and not have to use your generator using up that fuel. So as you can see right here, I have a dehumidifier, and I don't travel with this dehumidifier. Those are my chairs down there, but I don't travel with this dehumidifier. I just make sure to put it in here when I'm hooked up to my shore power at my house and we're in between camping trips. I also have my little Dyson vacuum that is so awesome, and I still have to finish showing you how well it works on the seats. Now I'm not sure if you can see that there, but there's a nice little ball of nothing but pet fur down there, or dog fur. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on real quick so you can see it move. See that? This right here is a switch that allows you to switch from shore electricity, I guess is what you call it. I don't have the lingo down pat just yet. So this switch allows you to switch from shore electricity to no electricity, where you would be running just off the batteries, or to your generator. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and turn this off, and you probably heard that my dehumidifier turned off, and I'm going to go and switch my shore electricity to my Mega 3, and when I turn it back on, you'll see that it works just fine, and we can see how much power is being drawn at one time with my dehumidifier on and a couple of the fans that I have on in the ceiling. And today is a very beautiful day. There's old Bob up there. You can see that we have a few clouds, but not that many. And there are Dog and Lulu over there. I'm not sure if you can see them, but they're trying to stay in the shade. So as you can see here, I just opened it up enough to make sure that I can use it. And it should be, let's see, it should be at 100% because I recharged it when we stayed overnight at a campground to make sure that we left with 100, and it still is, and it should be. I mean, it's only been maybe a week or so since we did that. So let me go ahead and turn on my AC, and you can see that the AC is on. I hope you can see this. Let me see if you can see it if I get out of the way better. There you go, 99 hours, 100%. All right, so I got a whole bunch of the cord out of there, and here is where it's connected to the house, to my shore power, I guess is what you can call it. Now it's not. Now let's bring it over to the OUPES. And check this out, ladies and gentlemen. We really don't need this surge protector when we're using the OUPES because it does have a pure sine inverter. But I figure, hey, we might as well check it out now that we're doing this. And look at this. You probably can't see this, but the green light is on, saying that we have the correct wiring, that it's grounded, etc., right? It's good to go. So now let's connect the trailer. All right, I had to go get my other phone/camera because my other one had to take a union break and it was too hot. So let's go ahead and connect this. Bam, it's connected. Let's we do have our AC on. Let's make sure. Okay, there you go. The AC is on. Now let's go inside and turn everything on and come back out here and see what it's drawing. So like I said, right now, everything that's running, like the fan in the bathroom I've got running, is only running off of battery power. And here you'll see that I'm going to switch it over to power cord, means shore power. And our dehumidifier is on. And the first thing that I want to acknowledge is that the power is on. Everything is working. So that means that the power in this Jamboree right now is coming from the Mega 3. And you can tell that the compressor that's inside of the dehumidifier is not on. The only thing that's working really is just the fan on high, but the compressor is not on because it's only drawing about 235 watts or so. And when the compressor turns on that machine, it draws probably close to 800, and it gets up to as high as like 1100 watts. But it is working, ladies and gentlemen. And I have to say that this is a really great way to keep your Jamboree, or to keep my Jamboree, self-sufficient in the case that we end up somewhere where there is no power available. We can still run with this, I would say, an air conditioner for at least a good 3 or 4 hours. And if I got my solar panels in there and there's good sun, we could probably extend that by a few hours as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm sure that there's a whole bunch of other stuff that I'm going to need to have with me on a permanent basis whenever I go RVing with my family, or even by myself, or camping in general. But I just wanted to show you that there are still deals out there. Now, I think that a lot of people thought that this knife from Bear Grylls, is it, or Grills? From Bear Grylls, that special forces guy from the UK, that they thought this was kind of gimmicky, that it was him just doing something to make money. Well, I'm sure that he made money off of it, but this is actually a really good knife. When we were at Three Bears in Trapper Creek, Alaska, my wife found a couple of these for like $6 a piece. Now that, in my opinion, is a great deal. So she picked a couple of them up without even me knowing. She just came into the RV, into the Jamboree, and she said, "Hey, look at what I found." And I was like, wow, those are nice. What's the first thing that we ask, gentlemen, when our wives bring something in that they bought without this there? How much were those? And she said, only $6. I was like, wow, that's a great deal. So one of these is always going to stay in here in the Jamboree. I'm never going to take it out. And then the other one she got for herself, I think she's going to put it in her motorcycle's case. But this is actually pretty nice. This is a foldable knife. Now look, this is what you get for $6. You also get a nylon sheath. No big deal about this. It's actually a pretty decent sheath. But it's not a big deal about this, but this is actually a pretty decent knife. A pretty decent looking knife. It has pretty decent thickness. Remember, this is $6. It's got a serrated edge on it, and I can tell you right now that it is very sharp. And I like the way that it locks, because you can handle it up here and down here and not be worried that you're going to unlock it, because the lock is back here. So check this out. Here's the lock, or how you unlock it. Press down and you're able to close it. And look at how nice and compact that is. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that in a sheath, and that's going to live up in the front of the cab of the Jamboree. But this is something that I've had for a long time. This is an MC4 from Refuge Medical. And this MC4 is a mass casualty 4. It means that it's meant to be used in really bad accidents, really, when you have mass casualties, and this can treat up to 4 people with life-saving equipment. It comes with 4 of these needles, and these are for the, I believe it's called pulmonary neurothorax or something like that, but you don't have to know the name as long as you know how to use it. Now, I've received a lot of training when I was in the military on how to properly administer one of these. I'm not going to tell you how to do it because of liability issues, but go out there and get trained and learn how to use it. But, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to go through all of the things that this has. What I plan on doing is turning this MC4, Mass Casualty 4, into a couple of Mass Casualty 2s, and keeping one of those here in the Jamboree with ourselves whenever we travel. That way we don't have to be bringing it back and forth. If you cannot get a Mass Casualty 4, right? And I did review this here about a year, 2 years ago. So check that video out here in the upper right hand corner. I'll leave it for you. If you can't get this, if you can't make your own, etc., check this out. How much you want to bet that I'm going to end up using this a lot more often than I end up using that? That's right. As far as treating any kind of small injuries, this even has ibuprofen and aspirin in there. This, you can't go wrong. It's not very expensive, and I believe that when there is a real SHTF, that most people will expire from infection that they couldn't treat because they don't have a basic first aid kit. I know, ladies and gentlemen, I did it again. I took a 10-minute video and turned it into, I don't even know how long this video is going to be, but it was all over the place. And you know what? I really have fun doing these kinds of videos where I don't go in saying, all right, I got to talk about this and about that and about that, and I got to keep it in this order. No, this is just me having a little bit of fun showing you all what I do on a daily. And you probably could tell that this was a multi-day video because we had a lot of rain in between, and I just couldn't do some of the things that I wanted to do with you today or on this video with it raining a lot outside. Hope you had a good time. Hope you got something out of it. Remember to go and sign up for my email list so you can be entered to win some awesome prizes from Nutrient Survival. And remember that Prime Day is coming up with OUPES, and they're going to have some really awesome deals as well as all of our other partners. Go check out my webpage, thealaskaprepper.com, where I have a list of all of our partners on there with all of the coupon codes that you can use so you can get an even better deal than what they're offering online. Having said that, God bless every one of you. God bless America. I'm Alaska Prepper. I am out.